Okay, the next thing we're going to learn about is dividing fractions. We've gone through adding, subtracting, multiplying, and now we're going to finish up with dividing. Alright, and we'll start right at the top of the page. So dividing fractions is just like multiplying. Whoa, I guess I should use my pen, huh? It's just like multiplying fractions with one more step. To divide fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, reciprocal means when you have a fraction, you flip it upside down. So the bottom is now, the denominator is now the numerator is now the denominator. We also call this, and this is the mathematical term for saying it, the multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse. And that just basically means what you multiply by the opposite. So you multiply the reciprocal. A good way to remember this is to say copy, dot, and flip. Okay, most of you probably remember that. You've probably heard it a few times. Copy, dot, flip. So you copy the first term, you change the division to multiplication, and then you flip the second term. Alright, let's scoot it up a little bit here so we can see the steps. Okay, so again, we start off with the exact same first step as we did with multiplying. Okay, so we're going to change any mixed numbers we have into improper fractions. So improper fractions. Okay, so you can see how they did it over here on the right. Okay, the next step, we're going to copy the first fraction, change division to multiplication. Okay, that's kind of sloppy a little bit. So copy the first fraction, change division to multiplication, and finally we're going to flip the last fraction, and that's your copy, dot, and flip. Okay, so the dot is the multiplication part. Alright, then we got step 3. We have some, because we're now into multiplication, if we can, we're going to cross cancel. Okay, so you can see how they did it over here. We had 7 over 3 times 6 over 13, and the 3 and the 3 divided by 3 and the 6 divided by 3. Okay, so they cross cancel. Okay, and after you cross cancel, hopefully you remember the next step. That's just going to be to multiply across. Okay, and finally, once you've multiplied across, if you have an improper fraction as your answer, you got to change it back to a mixed number. So change back to a mixed number. Alright, let's scroll down a little bit, see what we have here. Oh, that's the end of that page. So let's flip over to the next page and we'll do some try these. Before I start them, why don't you pause it and go ahead and do the try these on your own, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So, try these. We got 3 1/3 divided by 4 2/9. Alright, so if you remember, first step, you cannot do anything until you have improper fractions. So we are going to first do the backwards C. Okay, multiply and add. And multiply and add. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, over 3, divided by 9 times 4 is 36, plus 2 is 38, over 9. Alright, so we got improper fractions now. Okay, no mixed numbers. So the next step, copy, dot, flip. So we got 10 over 3 times 9 over 38. See how we flipped this one? Denominator is now on top, the numerator is now on bottom. Okay, now the next step is to cross cancel if you can. And here we can. So this works out really well. So I'm going to switch my colors really quick. So really fast, I see 3 and 9. Those can both be divided by 3. Okay, that's not a very good color. Let's try black. There we go. Okay, and then 10 and 38. While 10 doesn't go into 38, they can both be reduced by something. So we're going to divide them both. Let's try them both by 2. Alright, so we're going to rewrite them. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And 38 divided by 2, that's kind of big, but that's 19. Alright, so we've cross-canceled, and look at that, we are down to small numbers, because that would have been kind of ugly for a minute there, right? You'd had like 90 over, I don't know, 3 times 38, that's like 114 or something like that. That would have been pretty big. So, multiply across now, we get 5 times 3 is 15 over 19. Look at that. It is a regular fraction, it's not improper, because the 15 is smaller than the 19, and it can't be reduced because 19 is a prime number, so we're all done. So our final answer is 15 over 19. I'll write it down there so it's nice and easy to see my answer. Alright, let's try the one more. Okay, if you haven't done this one already, pause it again and give it a shot. Alright, but if you have, here we go. So we got backwards C again. So times and add. Backwards C over here. Times and add. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7 over 2, divided by 10 times 2 is 20, plus 3 is 23 over 10. Okay, next up, copy dot flip, so we're going to flip those upside down. 7 over 2 times, instead of dividing, and 10 over 23. Okay, next up, cross cancel. So we can cross cancel 2 and 10. Divide them both by 2, and we get, if we bring them all down, we got 7 on top. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5 over 23. And there's no more cross canceling, so we're just going to multiply across. We got 35 over 23. And we do have an improper fraction this time, so we got to divide. So 35 goes inside, 23 outside. 23 goes into 35 one time, and we do some subtracting, and 5 minus 3 is 2, 3 minus 2 is 1, so 1 and 12 over 23, and that's our final answer. No reducing there. Okay, that's it to the notes. You might want to try a couple more examples. Make sure you know what you're doing. Alright, that's it. See you guys.